Welcome to my YouTube channel. You go to source for the latest news, insightful analysis, and in-depth discussions on current events. If you're passionate about staying informed, you are in the right place. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you are never miss an update. Let's dive into today's news.
Russia pounds Ukraine with one of the largest strikes of the war. KYIV Ukraine. Moscow launched more than 200 missiles and drones across a wide swath of Ukraine on Monday, damaging energy facilities and sending residents of Kyiv into basements and subways to seek shelter. President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the assault as one of the largest strikes of the 30-month-old war. The strikes occurred at a volatile time in the conflict, coming against the backdrop of Ukraine's cross-border incursion into southern Russia, the first invasion on Russian soil since World War II. On Monday, Ukraine's forces continued to try to advance in the region. The offensive into the Kursk region has shifted the dynamics of the war after months in which Kyiv's forces were on the defensive in Ukraine's east. The push has slowed in recent days, but Mr. Zelensky said on Sunday that Ukrainian forces had advanced by 1 to 3 kilometers and taken control of 2 more settlements. It was not possible to verify the claim independently. At the same time, Russian troops have been attacking relentlessly along the front line inside Ukraine, closing in on the key city of Pokrovsk and razing towns and villages with artillery barrages and glide bombs. The drone and missile attacks on Monday, which began around dawn, targeted energy infrastructure in the capital, Kyiv, and in the regions of Lviv and Rivne in the west and Zaporizhia in the southeast, the authorities said. The strikes appeared to be an escalation of a Russian campaign against Ukraine's power grid and inflicted damage significant enough to cause blackouts in Kyiv and other cities. Like most previous Russian strikes, this one is just as vile, targeting critical civilian infrastructure. Mr. Zelensky said in a post on the Telegram messaging app, "There is a lot of damage in the energy sector," he said, adding that crews were repairing the damage. Russia has repeatedly targeted Ukrainian energy infrastructure in attempts to damage the economy and compound civilian misery caused by the war. Officials said at least 4 people had been killed and more than 30 others injured on Monday. An earlier estimate said that 8 people had died. Air raid sirens have become a grim routine for many in Ukraine, and on Monday people in Kyiv sought shelter in basements and in the city's subway system, whose stations are deep underground. The mayor of Kyiv, Vitaly Klitschko, reported power and water outages in some parts of the city, and the head of the regional administration in Lviv, Maxim Kozitsky, also reported power failures. In the city of Lutsk in northwestern Ukraine, the attack damaged an apartment building, the city's mayor, Igor Polishchuk, wrote in a post on social media. He later said that 1 person had been killed. A 69-year-old man died in the Dnipropetrovsk region of southern Ukraine, according to the governor Serhiy Lysak, while the governor of the Zaporizhia region, Ivan Fedorov, said that a man had died in an attack there. There were also deaths in Kharkiv and Zhytomyr regions, the local authorities said. The Russian Defense Ministry, which typically remains silent about attacks it conducts against cities and other civilian targets in Ukraine, said nothing on its Telegram channel. The rate at which the Ukrainian Air Force said it was intercepting drones and missiles dipped earlier this year as its stockpiles dwindled and the U.S. Congress debated whether to keep sending American-made interceptor missiles. Supplies resumed in the spring after the United States passed a $61 billion aid bill, and this summer Western air defense systems have rushed into Ukraine. Ukraine's Air Force claimed it shot down or electronically disabled 201 of the 236 missiles and exploding drones Russia fired on Monday, a figure that could not be independently verified. The statement did not elaborate on how Ukraine had achieved the 85% success rate, but it was one of the highest of the war. Ukraine said all available weapons and equipment were used, including fighter jets, ground-launched interceptor missiles, and teams of soldiers with machine guns. Ukraine has also increased its own attacks on military and infrastructure targets within Russia, hoping to slow its war effort, damage its economy, and potentially sap civilian morale. Last week, it struck a sprawling oil and aviation fuel tank farm in Russia's Rostov region, setting it ablaze on Monday. A fire broke out at Omsk oil refinery, the largest refinery in Russia, according to the Omsk regional governor, Vitaly Kotsenko, who said in a post on Telegram that 1 person had died and 6 others were injured. The governor did not say what caused the fire at the refinery, which is around 1,500 miles from the Ukrainian border. The Russian strikes in Ukraine on Monday came a day after a missile strike on a hotel in the eastern city of Kramatorsk killed a British safety advisor working with a team of journalists from the Reuters news agency and wounded 2 of Reuters' reporters. One of the journalists, a 40-year-old Ukrainian, remained in critical condition, while the other had been discharged from hospital, Reuters said in a statement on Monday. Ukraine's state prosecutor said on social media it had opened an investigation into possible war crimes and that the residential neighborhood in Kramatorsk where the hotel was located had been deliberately targeted by Russian forces, though it is not known whether the hotel itself was a target. Kramatorsk is around 16 miles west of the front line in Donetsk province, which has experienced the heaviest fighting this year with Ukraine on the defensive. Mr. Zelensky said on Monday that Ukraine had decided to further strengthen its defense of Pokrovsk, an important road and rail hub. More than 10,000 civilians have been killed in Ukraine since Russia launched its full-scale invasion in February 2022, according to United Nations data. Ukrainian leaders used Monday's attack to renew their call for permission to use weapon systems provided by the country's allies in NATO, including the United States, to strike military targets in Russia. Dmytro Kuleba, the foreign minister, also called on Ukraine's western neighbors to shoot down Russian missiles flying inside Ukraine near their borders, to ease the burden on Ukraine's air defense forces. None of these decisions are escalatory, Mr. Kuleba said on social media. To the contrary, they will deter Russia. The Polish military said it had scrambled jets in its own air force during the attack and that one airborne object, probably a drone, had crossed into Polish airspace, Polish news media reported. The object most likely crashed about 18 miles from the Ukrainian border in Poland, the military said, adding that a search was underway. Ukraine's foreign ministry also issued a warning to Belarus on Sunday after Belarus massed troops from its own army and those serving in Russia's Wagner mercenary group to an area near Ukraine's border, near the Belarusian town of Gomel. The movements began after Ukraine's incursion into the Kursk region of Russia. We warned Belarusian officials not to make a tragic mistake for their country under Moscow's pressure, the statement said. If the forces attack over the border, the statement said, all troop concentrations, military facilities and supply routes in Belarus will become legitimate targets. The air defenses provided by Ukraine's allies are most effective in shielding Kyiv as well as strategic military and economic locations. Other cities are left thinly defended, sometimes by little more than soldiers who try to intercept drones and cruise missiles by firing machine guns mounted on the beds of pickup trucks. Russia has been attacking Ukrainian cities with missiles and drones every few days in addition to launching daily barrages of artillery, mortar fire and missiles in areas near the front lines. On July 8th, a missile slammed into Ukraine's largest children's hospital, which is in Kyiv, putting it out of action without killing any children. On the same day, attacks across the capital killed more than 30 people.
Thank you for watching my videos. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumb up and share your thought in the comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more update and in-depth coverage. Hit the notification bell so you are always the first to know when a new video drops. See you in the next one. Thank you.